Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome to another hello. Welcome to another episode of Tea and Coffee with Paula and
Jay, who likes to go to an art gallery and doesn't hang out in the ship's galley. I was just told how to pronounce galley versus gallery.
Gallery. Yes. Oh,
Yeah, I was this old when I learned the difference, folks.
Yeah, exactly. We'll say, well, but good morning, happy Friday. Yes, 8. What is your name in the chat? 8-6, not 6-7. 8-6. Happy Friday.
6-7.
Yeah, we do with our kids. So when our youngest says 6-7, we go 8-9. Mom, Dad.
We love that little guy. I'm home.
Yeah.
I'm home.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is the one day during the 2-week period of touring that I get to sleep in my bed and be in the studio. So,
yeah.
hi.
Yeah.
How are
Hey.
you?
Oh, good. It's good to have you home. We were excited to see you. It was nice. Now go do some laundry, get you packed up and ready to go again.
Turn me around and get me back onto the road. Yeah, a little pit stop. Like in the Indy cars. And change all the
Formula
tires.
1, my friend. Formula 1.
Art gallery. Boat galley. I'll get there.
You will. Good morning, our local member right now, Common Sense. Good morning from Manitoba. Yes.
Hello. And how was last night for you? Did you enjoy that? You had to work the room a bit.
Yeah, I did. It was good. I have to admit, I was tired. It was cumulative a long day, but no, it was good, and it was great to see the community come out, ask questions. They asked a lot of questions. But no, it was a good event. Thanks. And I got to hear Kathy and Dr. Rogers' presentation for the first time as well. So that was pretty good too.
And I see Martin in the chat. Martin, I'm going to see you tomorrow. No. Yeah, could be tomorrow, Saturday.
No, tomorrow's Friday. So no.
Today's Friday.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah, Martin, don't listen to her. I'll be seeing you tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah, I fly up. Martin, hope he's.
Oh my God. It's just been a complete blur. But yes, you're right. You are. This time tomorrow, you're in the air. Well, taxiing if they leave if they leave on time. But yeah, and then
the poopy lip for you.
Yeah,
we're gonna go out there and see Dan and Shauna and Helen Gruce and
Angela
Chris Shoemaker and who?
Angela, Dan's lady friend.
Yes, of course. And then we gotta let JJ know that Mokam has been adopted.
Yes.
Yeah. That's great news to him. So. What do we have planned for today? On the farm.
On our farm, nothing. But on the other farm, dogs, pigs, cow or steer, horses. Same old. Everything is same old until the 15th when they come home.
And I enjoyed last night a lot too. Yeah, you did mention, noticed there was a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's been like that at every single stop.
Fantastic.
Sometimes there's even more questions. And it's the same ones over and over again, to be frank with you. The CPP.
Yeah.
How's this going to work? What about the banks?
Mm-hmm.
And all the actual concerns that people have about their daily lives is what's coming up, which is fine. Absolutely good. That's where concerns are going to be created. We also have to start to zoom out a bit, though, and think about, well, what about your children, your children's children, and their children? What are their futures going to look like? Because that's what we're fighting for. Rarely is a war fought for today.
Yes.
It's for the future. It's for the next generations. It's to protect. And we saw some of that last night.
Mm-hmm.
And there was even an older gentleman who was asking for the financials, like how much will this cost us? Mm-hmm. Obviously, he watches CBC because it's one of the trope that they throw out there. And we had some difficulty connecting on the understanding that it's not the federal government who pays for things.
Mm-hmm.
He kept saying, like, once you get rid of federal government, who's going to pay for things? And I'm like, well, the truth is the federal government takes our tax money and then uses it, and not even all of it, but uses it. So if we get them out of the loop, take the middleman out, we as a nation will just pay for things and take care of ourselves. And all of our money will stay here instead of half of it coming back. It was just a disconnect there. Like, well, then if the federal government's gone, who's going to pay? It's not like the federal government goes to work, gets a job, brings home the paycheck, and then supplies it to the family of provinces. It's not how this works.
No, in fact, we do that. we do that and then give the money to the federal government, who
They
in turn then
take
give
it.
it back.
I don't think anybody
Correct.
give us.
Yeah. So that, I think, and that was the first step, was what he was missing, is that no, we are the one that provides the federal government with said money, which they subsequently return to us to at a percentage. So, and yeah, he just, because he thought, no, top tier is federal government. No, we are the top tier that
Correct.
provide the funds.
No, he's likely very retired and
Yes.
hasn't worked in a little while, and maybe forgot how that worked. Like, he paid into the pension when he worked, he paid taxes when he worked, and now to him it does seem like it's a one-way street. Not paying them, they're paying him. Also had to remind him, inflation.
Yeah.
Inflation's a tax. So even though you receive old age security or CPP or both, it's worth less. You can buy less. Your purchase power is less because there's inflation in that too. But it was a great question, and I'm glad that we got there. I think in the end that he kind of started to understand. Oh yeah, right. Federal government doesn't like. Well, in one way, they make money, but they take the money from us and then redistribute it. And yeah, once we got to that point, I think you got it in the end.
Yeah. And thank you for the comment there, Kim. Got to tell people to watch your show. So much information here. That is what we are all about, whether we're on the show, whether we're at these events, because one of the key things we want you guys to take away is information that helps you feel more comfortable with whatever subject matter we're dealing with, but you can then share it out and then share that peace of mind with others as well.
And what I was really pleased about, and I didn't really know this until the very, very end when we were closing things down and shutting the doors, there were multiple people who came to the event and didn't sign, which is fine.
Yeah.
Like, there's two different things. You can go sign, you can go to the event, you can do both. It's all up to you. But there's several people who didn't sign, came to the event, listened to Kathy and Dr. Hodgkinson, and then signed.
Yes. That was very true, because when the event was done, it was like, is there a place we can go? Can I sign here? Because I had it at the merch table. And I was like, actually, no, down the hall in the other room, that is where you can go ahead and sign in the special room for canvases. Yep.
Yeah, there was at least one couple where the husband signed first, then they came and watched it, and then the wife signed as well. Because people want information and want to understand.
For sure.
And I don't think we need to convince them that things aren't great.
Yeah.
You just have to look around.
Yeah.
But what they're very concerned about is, well, how does this happen? So I think we're taking a turning point here. We're going from the why do this to how do we do this? And that's where a lot more people who haven't taken a step off the fence yet is sitting right now, is the how.
Yeah.
And one question that came up is, are we going to be the 51st state?
Oh my goodness.
At least we're equipped with the answer to that, like the procedure, how that would happen. No, this is not a petition for that. I don't even think the U.S. would want that. At least the Democrats wouldn't. So yeah, no, we get that one a lot as well.
Yeah, you answered that one quite well as well, because you break it down. It's not a case of no, we won't. End of story. Because that's what we're told. Like, no, you're not leaving. Sorry, no. I know, even sorry. But no, you broke it down saying no, because we have to go through our own independent stages. And then should we even want to consider it, we need another referendum to even look at the 51st state. And then, of course, the US have a say in this as well. And as you highlighted, Alberta would be a red state, and how many Democrats would be voting for that?
Now, the one thing that I was told last night that made me really sad is I got invited to some long-term care facilities in Drayton. There's a wonderful woman who approached me and said, hey, listen, I know a lot of people in these facilities. They need to get some of this information. And I'm like, yeah, of course. And they can't come out to events. We have to go to there. I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm happy to do that. But what she said next really shook me, because I was very disappointed to hear this. I heard through the grapevine, multiple sources, that Thomas Sasakic was going in there and telling elderly people, if you don't sign this, Trump's going to take over. Alberta's going to become the 51st state. I heard that one many, many times. But what I didn't hear was what I heard last night. He told the people in Drayton, if you don't sign this, you're going to lose your CPP.
Yes.
I was so disappointed to hear that. Not only is that a lie, because even if Alberta's independent, CPP keeps going. It doesn't matter where you live, you can still collect it. But to use fear like that, their income. So yeah, I'll be going to the Drayton Valley long-term care facilities. There's 5 of them, because this person's connected to that. And go and just talk.
Share some information so again they can be properly informed. But yes, they scared the elderly during COVID, and now they tried to scare them again with the whole you're gonna lose your pension.
Yeah, so if you're listening or you know anybody in these facilities, go talk to them. If they had Thomas Lasaka come by or his team come by
Yeah.
and try and verify this, because this was the first time I heard this one. But this lady does have a lot of connections to the facilities, and she said it was rampant. That was basically the whole message.
Terrible.
Just sign this or you'll lose your CPP. And they signed.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it didn't mean anything because that petition, he didn't go forward with it. The current one is trumping it because it's a constitutional question versus a policy question. And yeah, it was just sad to hear that. Like, I was very disappointed to hear that piece of information.
Because you're scaring people. You're scaring people on purpose. And if it wasn't Thomas's intention, well, you know what? Your canvassers who went out, this was the messaging that they were sharing. So shame on them.
Yeah, instead of convincing them, this is why Canada's great, this is why you need it, they were threatening them with their financial stability, security, and quite frankly, their mental health. Like having them worry like that, and now having them in that mindset when this petition's going out, and now they think, oh, these people are trying to destroy me, take away my CPP. These people want to hurt me, and that's now their thinking. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and have some conversations in the long-term care facility.
Yeah, exactly. It's not right. And again, it's another example of, hey, instead of here are the benefits of staying in Canada, more of the negative. You can't do that. This is what they're going to do to you, as opposed to, hey, this is what we can do for you. Definitely a different mindset with regards to promoting their side.
Yeah, so now let's go ahead and get into the news because yeah, that made me sad. I spent some time with a woman, and yeah, I'll make
the elderly have been through enough, and they've lived to this ripe old age. Good for them. The last thing they need is this worry and stress.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. This is where we left off yesterday. We had Mark Nixon on, and 1.4 billion reasons to have him on because the CBC has just received 1.4 billion. So their annual budget went up and up and up because nobody's watching, nobody's advertising, and you got to keep that propaganda machine going for sure.
Yep.
So here's this was spurred on by the protesters in Hinton on Wednesday. Two of them were in the audience, and then they stood up, and I said, I'm standing on ceded land. And boy, they did not like that at all. But so here we go, because we want to source things and bring you the information. The link is on the Government of Canada's website. Let me go ahead and bring that up for you, because all of the treaties are listed here, the text of them, and you can certainly go through them. This is something we did yesterday as well, take you through this. And I did want to remind everybody that, yeah, it is ceded land. So one of the arguments, because when I post this online, there were people adding comments. One of the arguments is, well, the Cree Nation didn't have a word for ceded. So is there a Cree version of this? It's like, huh? Like that's going to be how you draw this line in the sand. No, it's been ceded, and the compensation was paid as well. It continues to be paid. And if you look at the treaties, they received goods, they received money for each person. They received education. That was actually part of the treaty. The treaty was to provide them education. That was part of the compensation. And that's been ongoing ever since. So it's very difficult for my mind to be empathetic or sympathetic to the idea of, well, we didn't mean that, but over 100 years, you've been collecting the compensation portion of it. Personally, I think the treaties should be gone. These are silly things. It creates a two-class system. Everybody should be equal. And of course, Natives and Indians or First Nation, whatever word you're most comfortable with, should be able to own the land, be able to pass it on generationally. They should have all the same property rights that everybody else has. One rule of law. So as we have this conversation, yes, it is ceded. It's disputed now. I'll agree to that. But it doesn't mean you can just change it unilaterally.
Yeah.
Another comment that popped up underneath was, well, can they renegotiate? Of course. Yeah. Every single agreement in the entire world can be renegotiated if all parties agree to. That's important, though. All parties. Can't be unilateral, which means only one side.
Yes.
Yeah, I can say that, but not galley or gallery. Yeah, I'm a weird one, huh?
You're okay. You're kooky.
I'm okay. I'm cool. All right. So thanks again to Mark Nixon for hanging out with us. And I got a little bit of heat. And quite frankly, I don't care because the heat is you're too nice. You should be harder on these people. No. We're a welcoming show. We will have conversations. I like him. I think he's a nice guy. I think he's in it for the right things. But there's one person out of BC who's very not nice to me. In the past, I consider him to be an agitator. We might actually get into that with Curtis Stone today. We won't use names, but there's at least one person in BC that been a thorn in my side who thinks I needed to be more challenging to this guy. But thanks. If you want to be mean, get him on your show and do it yourself.
Yeah.
So answers for Sean, Dan, Hartman. So yesterday during the show, got news from Viva Fry, our friend David, that we'll be on a show. And so Dan was excited about that. Get that information out.
Yep. And go ahead and support Dan at supportsean.ca. You can go ahead and donate directly to his Give Send Go. And you could also buy a ticket for the upcoming screenings in Ontario.
And today we'll be putting up the link to pre-order the DVD. You can also get his shirts right now. You can do that. You can request a screening. Do you say that part? Request a screening?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's request a screening. We've got requests all over the world now. And the idea there is either we'll bring it to you or we'll contact you about you doing a showing and helping get the movie out there. So go ahead and do that request a screening if you don't see anything near you. In Alberta, we are already working on venues for you. It's going to be from Lethbridge all the way to Grand Prairie and all the majors in between. We're working on that for you as well. Let me pull this up. Okay, so this was a troll. Okay, I kind of fell for the first post, but then learned after it was a troll because they obviously don't read. Didn't read. But any case, so one of the pushbacks on the ceded land was, well, where's the word Alberta? The word Alberta does not appear. The Treaty 6 and others were actually signed before there was an Alberta. Alberta came in 1905. The treaty there was 1879, I think it is. So well before Alberta was Alberta. So of course it's not going to say and Alberta. So you got to follow the law. The next part to that was a treaty ceded the land to the Dominion of Canada. And then the Dominion of Canada in 1930 passed a law. So if you now read the Alberta Natural Resources Act, 1930, that passes the land and resources from Canada to Alberta. Alberta is named, and it's in the title of that one. This makes ceded land Alberta's. So there's some confusion, like Canada has it because they're only looking at the treaty and not any further. Well, with anything in law, you got to keep going. You got to keep going because there's layers and it gets added and amended. And in this case, because Alberta wasn't part, and you got to read this, guys, because Alberta wasn't part of the original Confederation in 1867, this act brought it up to the same standard as the rest of the provinces. Namely BC is what they refer to a lot in here. So this brought Alberta up to the same standard as BC and the rest of the provinces of Confederation because it came after. And if you read it, it says, interest of the crown and all crown land, mines, minerals, precious and based, and royalties derived therefrom within the province and in the interest of the crown and the waters, and it goes on, belong to the province. So this is where it was all transferred from the crown, federally, the Dominion of Canada, to Alberta. And this is also the law that makes oil Albertans, not Canadian. This is where all of the resources, all of the land in Alberta's border became
Alberta.
Correct. So you put those two together. You got the treaty that ceded the land to Canada, Dominion of Canada. Then you have the Dominion of Canada passing the land and resources to Alberta, to the province. Bada boom, bada bing. So a lot of people saying things like even the federal parks, the national parks, that's still Alberta's land. It might be administered by the federal government. They may run it. They may, hire and fire the people that are working the parks, but it's still Alberta's land. So to be very, very clear, in 1930, Alberta became the shepherds of the land, not the federal government and The land was ceded even before that. So you put those two together, it's
Belongs to
pretty
us.
clear. And that includes the oil and minerals and everything. $14 trillion worth that we know of so far. So hopefully that will put that to bed, but it really didn't. Because this person goes, I don't see the word Alberta in this screenshot. The name
This
is a troll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to it, Government of Canada website, Alberta Natural. It's even almost kind of underlined there. Alberta Natural Resources Act. This is about Alberta gaining its resources and its land in 1930.
Oh, perfect. And then comment here from David. That answered my question. I was concerned about the Crown claiming ownership of Alberta's land. Oh, and good morning, Shauna Carroll. It's lovely to see you.
Oh, wow. Get to see her tomorrow, too. Probably have a dinner with her. Hope you're ready for your road trip. We pulled some strings, Shauna, to make sure the weather was good for you. Yeah, you guys are out east. You're seeing the weather we've had here, which has been fantastic.
Yeah.
And there's more coming. So the weather usually goes from west to east. You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
They're taking everything from
You're
us.
welcome, Ontario. You've been taking Alberta's weather.
Yeah. Everything goes from west to east around this country. But the weather's pretty mild, so we should be able to enjoy that.
Yeah.
So here we go. Viva himself posted that'll be on. He goes with Dan and the director. I'm like, oh, do you want me to be on there? Because I'm neither one of those. The director is Dean, who did a fantastic job. But in the end, yes, I was on there. Rachel Parker here spoke with Mitch Sylvester, the independence referendum petition applicant was Stay Free Alberta. So Mitch Sylvester is the one that kicked it all off. He's the applicant. He says that they're onboarding 200 to 300 canvassers every single day.
And if you get just 100 at least, it adds up with the numbers.
Yep. So it's well over 2,000, going on to 3,000. And the reason why I know that is because people have started to post their badges with the numbers.
Yeah.
You really shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Because you're exposing your badge number to other people who may do bad things with your badge number. And then it's your badge number that gets flagged. And then everything you do, legit or otherwise, is now removed. So it's probably not a good idea to post your badge number, but I'm seeing people at events and I've seen their badge numbers well over 2,000.
Yeah.
I know badge number 1.
Yes, he said.
And looking forward to seeing somebody in the 3,000s and 4,000s. So my post here is so fringe, eh? Stay Free Alberta has the best team of volunteers who are making this come together under Mitch's leadership. It's honestly a very impressive grassroots effort to watch. Bravo, everybody.
Yes, bravo. Absolutely agree.
Maxime Bernier posted our trailer and then reached out, and he's going to be at the Ottawa screening. He's not a speaker or part of the official meet and greet or anything like that. He's actually just going to come to watch the movie. He's very interested in the story. He's one of the ones that has been raising awareness around Backs Injured and Dead. And he's going to be there with us. Kind of cool that he's going to make the drive. And no people are going, he's in Florida. No, he's not. He's in Montreal for a long time. So just tell me to park and visit in Ottawa. The Viva Fry here is the actual hour long. We were on there for about 40 minutes or so with Dan and Dean.
With the rollout of the...
There we go. Playing the trailer, and thanks very much to Viva. He has a following of over 1 million between YouTube and Rumble. We really appreciate him taking the time to hang out with us for a bit. You got to meet Dean for the first time, and one of the funny things is Dean sent his DVD to Viva, but it was a DVD. And Viva said, I didn't have a DVD player.
We don't have a DVD player.
So he went to Walmart to get one just to watch the movie, and was very impressed by it. So it was kind of cool to see Dean get on Viva, a conversation. Dan's been on several times. And I was on the road. So I just pulled off of the Trans-Canada, the Yellowhead Highway, a little rest stop, and there I am doing my thing. My travels from Hinton to Breton.
Yep. You're coming home to us.
Coming home.
Yep.
There should be a country song like that.
I'm sure there are numerous songs out there called related to coming home.
Well, I like the one that says, my wife ran away with my best friend. Boy, do I miss him. And then in Breton, it was great to see you last night.
Yep.
And Dr. Hodgkinson does his thing. Got a nice round of applause. And Kathy.
Rock star.
Yeah, she's amazing. When I get started, I ask her, like, have you heard of these people before? Just a few people put up their hand for Kathy. But at the end, they were very pleased with her.
She,
She's a fantastic speaker. She brings the information.
yeah, she comes with a wealth of information.
Yeah.
It's good.
And then Hodgkinson as well. He's fun. He's a slower delivery, but more precise.
Mhm.
And then Kathy is she's like a fire hose of great information.
Yep.
So one more night. This could be tonight in Leduc. Speakers will start around 7:00.
Yep.
We usually do a little bit past 7 because people start to show up at 7.
Mm.
So if you can, and you're going to be in Leduc, please come for 6:30 even. The
Yep.
doors will be open.
Yep.
Get yourself a nice seat and let's go fill up that venue. And then Kathy Fletch herself posted our little tour dates because she was talking about the Hinton group. So a first for this trip. In Hinton, we had 2 young protesters who came with their own agenda. Rather than dialogue with us, they yelled and screamed and stormed out. Their friends and neighbors and attendants remained polite, and it was beautiful to see. Onward and upward to Breton. But yeah, it was no big deal. So
Yeah.
this is going to be, I think, my 10th or 11th night of just this part of the tour, these tour things. This was the first time we had anything like that. And then Dan clipped part of the interview. Check it out. And then Max is going to be at the event, so join me in supporting Sean's family. He's going to be at the event in Ottawa. And then Freedom Calendar still doing great work. So Max will be there tonight as well. So he's going to stream the Leduc event. So if you can't make it, or you want to share the information, you can't make it and you want to share it, it's going to be streamed tonight, and we'll be posting it. I don't think it might be on Saturday. I might be able to download and post it on our platforms because I'm gonna have a really incredibly busy another week.
Yes, you are.
So I don't know if when I'll get to do it. So I'm gonna have to try and
because even tomorrow,
land on the plane, get to the hotel, hook up the computer, do it, then maybe go for dinner.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Even though the first screen isn't until Sunday, you have things to do Saturday.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm looking forward to seeing Shauna. We'll try and get together for dinner. She's bringing her husband. I think at least one of her kids are coming too. So looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mary Tyler Bowden, MD. 20 states have bills under consideration to make ivermectin available without a prescription. What is a U.S. FDA waiting for? And then she lists off all the states.
Yeah.
What is Alberta waiting for, I say? Because, of course, like this is a product, medication. People use it for various things.
Yep.
In Alberta, you still can't get it. This has turned into the who was I talking to recently? I'm like, I remember when I was a kid, it was like in the back alleys, you can find the drug dealer. He's selling these little bags of marijuana. But now it's like, hey, you want some raw milk?
Yeah. No.
Do you want some ivermectin?
Where's our raw milk? Come on. Come on.
So that's kind of the stage we've jumped into now, where the things that are good for you is hard to get. So Alberta needs to take a look at this. Under a new Alberta, this certainly wouldn't be a problem for you.
It would be nice if we looked at it before the referendum. That'd be nice.
Here's the CTV headline. Carney wins admiration globally, but struggles to lower food costs at home. And Ryan, good poster here, is what a ridiculous headline.
No kidding.
So I took that on as a challenge. All right, here, I fixed it. Now it makes more sense. Carney wins admiration from globalists, but struggles to lower food costs at home. It's not globally, it's globalists.
Yeah.
Like they try to make it seem like people around the world rejoice for Carney. No,
they don't.
It's the globalists, it's the institutions, that's who they're referring to.
Yeah, and what does it say? That even if globally he's been praised, but in his own country he is not.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, silly man. So here we go. Algerian Olympic boxer Imani.
Yeah, that one. It has admitted to having. We know.
Yeah.
We know you're a man.
Post here is, so he says he is a he after all. You know what I noticed? Look at his name. Man and he.
And he.
They've been telling us all along. I man. Then he is right in there. Huh?
Huh?
Yeah, you see it now?
I see it
it's
now.
It's going to be like the FedEx logo. You can't unsee that now.
But yeah, we knew.
Is his name.
We knew you're a man.
Yeah.
You've always been a man.
For those I don't know who we're talking about.
That guy.
This dude, this man.
Who beat up women for the Olympic sports and beats up women professionally.
Yeah. So he says he is a he after all. I think we're almost done here with the news, and we'll bring our awesome guest on.
Yeah.
I love these kind of headlines because what are they doing? What do they think they can do? The Alberta First Nation Chiefs calls for Carney to come to Alberta for an urgent meeting on Alberta independence.
Here he comes to save the day. No.
What he's going to do is really
No.
save the day for the independence side.
Yes.
So my question is, and do what? Nothing tells me that people are reading the treaties and starting to understand the land was ceded. If Carney,
Look, now they're actually reading it.
Yeah.
There you go.
yeah, well, that's what I told
There
the
you
Hinton
go.
guy to do. Go read the treaty. Do it. And realize the land was ceded. If Carney came to Alberta to try and talk sense into Albertans, because what could he do? He can't pass laws. He can't stop the independence movement. So at most, what these Alberta First Nations chiefs might be hoping is talk some sense into them.
Give us an MOU. We collect them.
And he'll get an WTF back from us.
Yeah.
Try and talk sense into Albertans. The independence petition would gain 100,000 more signatures overnight. So yes, if Daddy Carney comes here to try and talk some sense into us, more people are just going to sign.
Yeah.
They're done with that condescending attitude that we can't do what we need to do.
Yep.
I think we're on the last couple ones here, Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
So the headline here of the Western Standard: Alberta man who did bad things to women gets reduced sentence due to his Indigenous descent. Racism. So in the new nation of Alberta, there would be one rule of law for everyone. Enough of this multi-tiered system, enough of this identity politics, enough of this racism, because that's exactly what this is. That's it. Criminals should be criminals, be treated as criminals. It doesn't matter any of your background.
Mm-hmm. And enough of the demeaning of women. Let's throw that one in there too.
Yeah. You're creating a society where women are not safe, don't feel safe. This is on purpose, by the way. This is why they're trying to erase women and all that kind of stuff. Now they're also scaring you because they're going to put the criminals back onto the streets.
Because you and the crimes against you are not a priority.
Yeah.
So
here's one more. CTV Edmonton: feds not considering Alberta's request for input on judicial appointments. In other words, Alberta has no say who the judges are in Alberta. So Alberta, pay attention. They're laughing in your face. The only way to have input on judges is to be independent.
Yeah. And part of Kathy's speech of her presentation, if you can join us in Leduc tonight or check out the stream, it's excellent because she covers this.
Yeah. And then I think this is the last post it is. Derek Smith posting. So Calgary in Dalhousie filled that room, hundreds of people. So those that are saying the cities are not interested, they are. They're very much interested.
Yep.
And one more post that I saw recently was from Safe Free Alberta that says if you're worried about showing up because there's people taking pictures and harassing people, contact Safe Free Alberta. They'll send a canvasser to your home.
Yep, they will. And that also helps for those who have mobility issues, the elderly. They will come to you.
Yep. You just reach out and let them know, and they'll come to you because it is what's happening. There's some people feel like they're going to be harassed or outed or have trouble at work, etc. So reach out, and that'll be happening. All right, we're 4 minutes past. Let's go ahead and bring in the man of the half hour and one of my friends.
Oh,
good morning.
Doesn't he hear us?
Oh, there he is. Perfect.
Here I am.
Do you hear us?
Bright and early. I can hear you. Got my coffee ready to go.
Coffee, haha, one for coffee. And I want to thank Freedom Honey, Mike at Freedom Honey. This is an amazing tumbler. And on the back it says that sweet taste of freedom. But better than that, this thing keeps my coffee warm all day long. You happy to know that?
Good.
You can sip it slow.
The thought of you drinking cold coffee makes me
so Curtis,
cruel.
Your name came up last night just before bed. Not in our room, but I was on the phone with a gentleman from BC Prosperity Project.
Yes.
He mentioned you as somebody who's very involved in that. I knew that, but it was kind of neat to go. He goes, "Do you know Curtis Todd?" I'm like, "He's on tomorrow morning."
Yeah,
yes,
perfect.
So how you been?
Really good. Yeah, really good. Busy. My goodness. So much going on. The whole separatist movement is it's picking up steam for sure, but it has some significant challenges in front of it, as you guys very well know. Jason, you sent me these Antifa texts, man, and I gotta say, it is disturbing at best. I wanted to tell you though, you sent me this one letter. Well, you sent me these two things about Antifa infiltrating the. Can I jump into this? Is this cool?
Yeah, please
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, I wanted to share with you a little bit of insight on my background because I have a pretty good understanding of these people, especially their mentality. When I was a '90s punk rocker, I was in and around a lot of these circles, and at the time, it wasn't Antifa. It was Black Bloc anarchists, and I was like a total lefty punk rocker guy in the '90s. Played in punk bands and yeah, and the movement was different then, though the mentality is the same, but the politics are different now because they're more evolved to absolute absurdity, as you guys are just showing in some of the things that the latest. But when I read this Antifa letter, and then talking about how they've infiltrated the Alberta separatist movement, and then I saw this little flyer on white supremacy, I kind of wanted just to touch on it. There's a lot to unpack there, but when I was in the '90s hanging out with these guys, there's a characteristic that you really have to understand when you kind of put together try to understand where they're coming from, because I always find that's important to know. It's like Sun Tzu says, "Know thy enemy." Sun Tzu in the Art of War, know who you're dealing with, and be honest. Let's not just disregard them and say they're stupid and this and that and the other, but let's be honest. But a lot of these guys come from broken homes, which is not surprising. But leftism in general, and thank God that I was saved from it, the whole mindset perpetuates a self-hatred, because it's about hating and wanting to destroy everything. And I remember this one time, I was actually in San Francisco, and this was actually when I was the urban farmer starting my career. And I got involved in a lot of advocacy groups very early on in my career. And I was still sort of a lefty, though I wasn't politically correct. And I was falling out of love with it pretty quickly into my farming career. But there was a year or two at the beginning where I was still kind of associated, and I was invited to a lot of these leftist gatherings. I would go to sustainable development conferences and be a keynote speaker and things like this. And a lot of these Antifa type people associate in those groups. And I remember being in Oakland, California, sitting at a dinner table with a bunch of anarchists. I was invited to stay. It was like the beginning of my career. So somebody would invite me to go and speak, and I'll go. And I didn't make much money, but I would go because it was exciting to be in the US presenting on farming and stuff like that. And so anyways, I stayed at the house of this. It was like a flop house for a bunch of these anarchist punk rockers. And I remember sitting at this dinner table. They had a potluck that night in honor of me being there. And I'm sitting around listening to these guys, and the dinner was sort of a de facto meeting for their Black Bloc anarchist group. And they were literally planning a bunch of vandalisms that they were going to do. It was involving smashing windows of cars and buildings and things like this. And I remember just sitting there, and I was anti-establishment, but I was never like that. And I remember just saying to the one guy who was really the one behind this stuff, I was just like, I asked him, I said, why do you think that smashing a bunch of stuff is going to create anything good or new for yourself? And he just got so defensive and angry at me and went into this whole tirade about how the only way to get what they want, which is this sort of anarcho-syndicalist communism that, guys like Noam Chomsky have been writing about for 50 years, is that we have to smash it all down, like literally destroy everything. And it was at that moment that I fully realized the mindset of a lot of these people is they've grown up, and I grew up this way too, believing that the world was going to end. You grow up with believing that existential climate change is going to end your life. So there's no point of planning for the future. There's no point of having a family. So all these people don't have, most of these people don't have families. They're hopeless, and they come from broken homes. They get involved in this kind of stuff. And I did too. I came from a broken home too. But you have to understand, like when I read these things, like this white supremacy movement is growing in Alberta, and they're talking about Steve Bannon this. It's like, where's the evidence of that? You know, they make all these claims, and they're prepared to just sabotage everything. And you have to understand that we're dealing with the Joker. So it's like the analogy of Batman, the story of Batman, the Joker or the Omega. He's the guy who has nothing to lose. So he doesn't care. He'll smash it and burn it all down. And there's probably people in the elite that are that way too. But these Antifa people, they have nothing to lose, and they're willing to harm themselves and harm others to get what they want. And so I kind of wanted to start with that because it was like we're already seeing it in the BC movement. These infiltrators, they come in and they just sabotage, and so they just want to cause division and chaos essentially. And it's serious. I think a lot of people in our movement call it, I don't know. I don't like the left and right paradigm anymore. I think it's tired. I think the independence movement is beyond that, frankly. But people that would consider themselves, say, culturally conservative, we take for granted our adversaries, and we disregard them because they believe things that are silly, like some of the woke things that you were just showing before I came on. But I would advise people to take these things seriously, because these people, they will stop at nothing to destroy, because in their mind, they believe that they're right, and they believe it in their entire body. This isn't just an ideology they just came into. These people have been brainwashed with this ideology for their entire lives. And I was certainly the same.
Yeah, and what you're talking about there is one of them is the Operation Swamp Donkey. And that name came from an event I did because we were booked at Canadian Brew House, and Canadian Brew House canceled our event the day of. I got on the phone, reaching out to some people. Eventually, someone, dearly knew the owners of the Swamp Donkey, which is, by the way, a gun store and a gun range. That's what they are. And they said, yeah, you can totally use our range, have your conversation. And he ended up becoming a petition signature location and keeps doing it too. But the irony here, and I think you're going to appreciate the irony, is we were canceled by Canadian Brew House. Our event was booked and canceled. They came out and said, no, they weren't even booked until we provided the receipts. And it was like, okay, yeah, they were. And the part here that I think you're going to find interesting is so that was like a Tuesday. That Friday, Canadian Brew House in Stony or Spruce Grove had a scheduled event for the recall petition, which is the NDP trying to take out the UCP. And the brew house was not only having the event there, they were participating by donating $8 worth of beer for every $10 ticket sold. And they were promoting it and very connected to this petition signing for a recall, but they were canceling the petition signing for independence. So what did Canadian Brew House do? Canceled that one too. So instead of just being open to everybody and maybe saying, hey, sorry, you guys can reschedule, everyone's welcome, we don't take a position, you're all, because that's what their statement said, they canceled them too. And then that upset the left, that group. They're like, what are you doing canceling our event just because of some online comments? The irony is thick on this one. We didn't call Canadian Brew House and say, hey, you got to cancel the event. They did. And then Canadian Brew House got pressured to be fair. If you're going to cancel one, what are you doing with this other one? So they canceled everybody. And then that spurred on us being at Swamp Donkey. And then that's likely where Operation Swamp Donkey came from. Because that's not two words that are normally together. Right? Swamp Donkey, where does that come from? That's a gun store. And one of the posts that I saw from, because this is Facebook group, I think called Reboot Alberta, it's just full of these crazies. And they said, well, guys, we need to boycott Swamp Donkey. Like, yeah, you normally go to gun ranges and buy guns? Like, really? That doesn't seem to be your thing. But that's kind of where that name came from. Now, when I first saw that document, I thought it was fake because there's a trademark and copyright notice on the image and the word. But as you're reading it, do you think we should be taking these kind of things seriously? Do you think that they are trying to infiltrate and sabotage with inside of State Free Alberta?
Of course they are. And they're not just stopping at that. It's everything. Where's the trademark? Oh, you mean on the white supremacy movement one?
No. The Antifa one. I'm trying to find it here on my
Oh
side.
yeah, up top I see. Oh yeah, I see the TM. Yeah,
on
right,
the
right, right.
image and the name. Like, would they really do that?
I don't know. Maybe they're being ironic because it says, let's drink, let's have a shot of freshly squeezed capitalist blood and aged cheddar on sourdough. It's just, yeah, it's crazy, man. You know, but the thing is though, is when I look at the other one that you shared with me, this white supremacy movement growing in Alberta, this paranoia too is also on our side. I've been watching it a lot lately. I'm not going to name names, but there is a we've seen it in sort of the mainstream right lately, where there's, call it the Tucker Carlson, and again, I don't idolize these people, and I don't actually even trust most of them. So take it for what it's worth. But just to paint the picture, we've got the right is divided, the quote unquote right. They're divided on the Israel thing, right? October 7th completely divided the mainstream conservative movement into two camps, really, the sort of pro-America, America first crowd, and then the sort of Israel first crowd, the neocons and the traditional conservatives, I guess. And the paranoia on the neocon side regarding any criticism of Israel or Jewish behavior or Jews is absolutely absurd. And I can't help but wonder if it's some level of infiltration that's going on here, because I thought we were all just capable of having honest conversations and just putting cards on the table. And yeah, some people are offended by certain conversations that involve certain people, but so what? Toughen up, Buttercup. That's what we're supposed to be about. But it's really interesting because I'm seeing these things pop up. I watched a bit of it on a conversation you had with some gentlemen from the Dominion Society. All of a sudden, Israel gets thrown into the mix. It's like, what are you talking about? Well, why is this even a thing? It's like
Well,
this.
it was actually worse than that. I'll kind of refresh your memory. The Holocaust was thrown in there out of nowhere.
Well, that's
like,
just
what are we talking about here now?
it's such a tired issue, and it is so divisive. I mean, the discussion of Israel or the Jewish question or any of these types of things is like a scatter bomb. It's like a dirty bomb. Just throw it into a room and boom, watch everybody take a side and start fighting. And what's the solution? I think the solution is to front load it and just be totally open and honest and not afraid to have that conversation and not be afraid of offending people. But the thing that I witness with the what's going on the right with all of this is that there's just such an immediate default to using logical fallacies against people and straw mans and ad hominems and, oh, you're an anti-Semite or you're a Holocaust denier or whatever. It's really ironic because it's what we've watched the left do to us, quote unquote left, mainstream, anti-right people, Antifa people. This is what they do to us. They straw man us all the time by saying, oh, you're a climate denier, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're a transphobe.
Yeah,
so this is what I've been saying, is that we're actually watching the quote unquote right get woke, in the sense is all of a sudden they're using the same tired, lame ad hominem, straw man, logical fallacy arguments against each other, and it makes you wonder, like, are some of these people just, agent provocateurs, people who are just trying to divide? It makes you wonder, because my whole thing is, what's wrong with having the conversation? And let's not be afraid of that conversation, because I actually believe there's something to, we don't need to get into this, but I just want to put it out there for food for thought, is like, I believe that there's something to the Jewish question, but I don't believe that all Jews are bad. So why can't somebody have that position? Because you put that out to some people, and I've rubbed shoulders with some of the people that you have as well, and they immediately just default to, oh, disregard it. Oh, it's a stupid conspiracy. It's like, is it really? Is it really conspiracy? I mean, there's a massive historical precedence to it. So there's obviously something there. So why not just, if you're going to have that conversation, have the conversation openly and honestly, and be a grown up. But that's where the wokeism has permeated the minds of the right, which is really interesting, because we've seen the left get woke over the last 10 years, like the madness with all the transgender stuff. But now we're seeing this whole idea with this absolute line in the sand position on anything to do with Israel or the Jewish question on the right. And now we're watching the Trump administration get kind of woke. And that's where I think maybe there's common ground with some of these people on the left that criticize, because when I was a lefty, we were always criticizing Israel. And actually, when I lived in Montreal, I was still very anti-establishment. All the anti-Israel stuff that I learned and heard about was from Jews. And so all these Montreal Jews are very, very, very critical of Israel, and openly and flagrantly so. And so there's common ground in a lot of them. And I think there is on the left too. Now, I don't agree with all these, radical Palestinian protesters doing the things they do, but I do kind of agree with their position to some degree. I think Israel's horrible and doing horrible things. And why does this have to be an issue that's just so, you're either on the left or the right if you believe it? Like, why can't we just go to the truth and just look at the facts and debate it? And I think this is where the right is going to get sidewinded, because there's potential, just like how that was all these scatter bombs are throwing at us. This is one that they're using against us right now. And they're assuming, like in this thing, this white supremacy movement thing, oh, Steve Bannon is behind this movement. So they're trying to paint the Alberta separatist movement and probably the BC separatist movement as being something to do with MAGA, which I think it's important to take a clear stance that this has nothing to do with it. I don't support Trump. I don't like the Trump administration. I don't like where the United States is going at all. I don't want to be part of the U.S. There was a time where I thought, well, it might be better off being part of the U.S., but no. When I look at what the U.S. is doing right now and the absolute, the just imperialism they're continuing with, forget it. I don't want to be part of the U.S. I want to be independent. And I think that's an important thing, because it's going to be used against us if we don't take a stance to say, we're not part of that.
And so there's a lot to unpack there for sure. And part of it that I kind of do want to touch on is how people conflate Israel, the land, with the government, with the people, with the religion. Like, these are all different things, but they're all conflated together. So if you say, hey, I don't like what Israel, people don't use the word government, they just say Israel. But when they do that and say, well, I don't like what Israel's doing to this group of people, well, then everybody goes, well, now you're anti-Semitic. You're attacking the people and the religion. It's like, well, actually, no. Like, there's policies, and what IDF did there, that wasn't right. Like, they shouldn't have just shot up that entire caravan. Oh, well, now you're anti-Semitic and you probably deny the Holocaust too. It's like, holy smokes. Like, just having an opinion on even just a policy or an event that happened and say, well, that's not right. It gets conflated into, well, this is, you hate this entire group.
Exactly.
You should be disbanded. You should be kicked off. And it's like, no, I know what's in my heart. How do you? And you're wrong. I also want to go down another path with you, which is the infiltrators, agents provocateurs, feds, people use that colloquial term, feds. Before I started doing a podcast, I was watching what was happening in Ottawa. There's lots of streamers like Viva Fry and others. And I was wondering, like, oh, who's a fed? Who's a fed? And there's a couple times where they're like, this guy doesn't belong because he came out of nowhere and he's talking about storming the parliament, and everybody kind of backed away and they're like, fed, fed, fed. So I was in the mindset that they exist. They absolutely do. Then I started doing my podcast. All I'm doing is searching for truth, having conversations. And then I run into an uncomfortable truth. Let's put it that way. Something that was just like, oh, that sucks. It was fundraising related. It's like, oh, people are not being very good with the accounting and
very honest,
the accountability and the transparency. And that just is not good. I was also kind of affected because I was donating, but I wasn't getting receipts. Anyways, kind of, started to question that. And then suddenly I got labeled as a fed. Like, So our side, the freedom loving, let's fight the system, let's make sure everybody's innocent until proven guilty. That side is labeling me as a fed. And I know what I am. I'm not. So does that mean this label gets thrown around really easily? So I made
Oh,
a
for
kind
sure.
of change at that point, which was, well, I'm going to believe nobody's a Fed until I have information or evidence otherwise. That started me on my next little journey that I want to share with you, which is as I was interviewing people, bringing people out, and also being attacked by a certain group, I started to learn, whether it was intentional or not, there are provocateurs. And how I understood that was,
Mm.
well, who's saying what about me? Are they saying that false narrative that got started by this little group? Do they believe that and they're continuing to perpetuate that? Or are they like, well, wait a minute, we don't know. We've met him. He seems okay. It's not so bad. I started to see a distinction. Absolutely. It's to this day, it still happens where there's a really small group, and I can probably name 20 people that are in that group because I've seen it. They go like, no, Jason is, I've got the proof. I know he
Mm.
is. I've got the receipts. I just can't share it. I got good sources that, but they don't want to be talked about. And I know, because I'm not being gaslit, I know what's the truth.
Yeah.
So now I'm able to have, like, it's not rose tinted glasses, it's some other type of tinted glasses where I can see, okay, well, you are either a moron or you're part of
Yeah.
something.
There's a pattern
And
here.
this last thing I'm going to add
Mm.
to you is I see the same group go after other things like the ostrich farm. They came out as
Yeah.
naysayers against the ostrich farm, pulling out all these things that they called were receipts. But if you look into it, it's like, actually, there's nothing wrong with that. Actually, that makes more sense. Actually, they were part of a
Mm.
study. I get it. And then they go after these events, the same group go after these events. Like one of them does a spaces on X, been doing this forever. He plus 19 other people or so seem to be doing this. So now I've gone from there are feds to nobody's a fed until I prove to, well, I've seen a lot over the last couple of
Yeah.
years. And there seems to be this small group that does seem to be provocateurs or agitators or something.
I
And I think
think
you've seen some of that come up in the BC Prosperity Project side of things recently too.
oh yeah, I mean even in Twitter Spaces and things like that. I think what really is going on is with the technology that we have for communication and things like this, we're in a new era of controlled opposition, and this is my hypothesis, though I can't prove it. But I'm noticing patterns. One thing is on a macro level is Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky. He's like a Jewish radical leftist who basically came up with a lot of the tactics that are used by Antifa. It's worth looking at that if you want to understand what they do. And one thing is, here's a pattern, is every accusation is a confession. And
Yeah.
so those that are out there just calling names and calling everybody a Fed, it's a pattern. It's interesting. But another thing that I'm really noticing as a pattern is that if you've gone down the conspiracy rabbit hole like I have, and I've got out of that rabbit hole, but I can look at now like what's real, like just discern facts and look for solid evidence on things. There's a lot of BS out there, but there's a lot of stuff that's true too. Is in the old days, the way they would have controlled opposition is a lot of these key figures would have a handler, right? And so and they still do. You look at, who is this mysterious guy that's always behind Trump? Things like that. Like, who's this guy? He's always there. Handlers, they kind of keep you in line. When Kanye West had his meltdown a few years ago, he was kind of blowing the whistle on one of his handlers. But the handler of today is a decentralized multiple handlers in that, and this all ties into this dead internet theory, if you've ever gone down that thing, but is that bots. So basically they have the technology. This is completely not even controversial to say, because if 100 million people can be using ChatGPT or Grok at once, asking it the most complex questions and getting it to produce, a book like Tale of Two Cities in seconds, right? You know what I mean? That's the complexity of these LLMs. Is it not possible that you could essentially have billions of internet bots out in the world going into comment sections and joining Facebook groups and so on and so forth, and basically with an objective to shake things up, as they say, or be agent provocateurs. And so what I'm noticing is with a lot of content creators, they have these sort of inner circles of people. Maybe they're private Telegram groups, private Facebook groups, or whatever. And a lot of these people they don't even know they're controlled opposition, but they're being incentivized by their followers, i.e. bots, to get them to behave in certain ways. Because, and I've been a content creator, though less and less these days. I'm a guy out there. I still have a popular YouTube channel. I don't post very much. I'm not chasing the algorithm, but I can tell you, as somebody who's been a content creator who has chased the algorithm for a period of time, like there's a period of time when my YouTube channel was making a lot of money. And I could see how there's these certain algorithmic incentives that push you in one way or the other. This is, if you have that incentive, all these bots need to do is get you to respond to that incentive. And so you go and do certain things and behave certain ways because you're seeing a positive algorithm pushing you that way. And so this is what they do. And so now you have these bots all around getting somebody to, do this, do that. You're getting good feedback to say, do this or do that. And so this is what you do. So I think we're in an era of controlled opposition like we've never seen, because it's probably all over the place and it's everywhere. It's decentralized and it's just chaos. It's like, have you ever seen that clip of Barack Obama? I think he's at the Council on Foreign Relations talking about mud on the streets and how everybody's just going to be so confused and nobody knows what's real. That's where we are. And then you stack AI with the content that it creates and the realism of the videos. And we're in an area where people are just like, they don't know what's real. Even with all this Epstein stuff coming out now, people are questioning, well, is this real or is this just AI? And so people don't even know what's going on.
And that's so true. Okay. So I'm going to share one more experience, maybe two, possibly even three with you. Because it's just so, it blows my mind. Like, it's like, really, this is real. So during this whole fundraising thing, I had 6 weeks of love thrown at me. You're the best. You're awesome. Let's keep doing your stuff. Let's keep doing your stuff. And then they didn't like some of my decision making. I'm a very free mind. I talk to everybody, and they didn't like a certain guest coming on the show. That would be Jeremy McKenzie. And I got a phone call right before a show and said, listen, you're doing great. We love you. You have access to all the men. We control that. You need to now limit who you have on your show, and you need to run it through us. Like, huh? Excuse me? Sorry, what? If you do that, if you do that, we'll make you the guy. We'll make you the spokesperson. We'll get you on all these other things. Tucker Carlson was one of the things we were working on at the time. And I'm like, huh? Well, listen, I have my boundaries. And my boundaries are, nobody tells me what to do. Nobody tells me who I can and can't talk to. My wife knows this quite well. And so that conversation ended. I was promised another conversation where I can kind of lay out a little bit more the boundaries that I need them to stick to, because they want to put me in a little box. And I said, no way. But you can't do this kind of thing to me or require this. And in my mind, it was like, would you really respect me if you could control me? Because then you would know that I'm somebody that can be controlled. Like, would you really respect that? And I just pushed against that. And then what did they do? They actually told people that I'm controlled. I'm controlled opposition. I resist their control. So then they use that. So that's a Freudian projection thing.
It is. Like, well, every accusation is a confession.
Correct. They know people can be controlled. They tried to control me. And when they couldn't, then they went and told people, we got death threats over this, dude. Like, this got really bad. And that's when we started to see, well, who's real and who's not. Because whoever gobbled up their narrative and believed it, I'm like, well, okay, you're gullible. But then there are the higher levels, the people that are the influencers. And they were nasty. And they didn't even bother asking. They had no evidence, but they still just followed this narrative. And that continues to this day. One of our chat members here just kind of reminded us about somebody. This person bought a membership, was paying for our subscription, was in our chats all the time, very friendly. You guys are doing great work, yada, yada, yada. Very supportive, until we didn't listen to him by saying, don't have this certain person on anymore. I'm like, well, hold on a second. You're a supporter, you're nice in the chat, all that kind of stuff is great, but you can't tell us what we can and can't do. I'm a journalist. I'm going to have on whoever I think is interesting, whoever I want to listen to and learn from, or talk to, or gain information from. Like, I'm curious. I'm very curious. So this person then started going, well, no, if you don't, here's the best line that comes out all the time. Well, I'm a supporter. Like, okay, but that doesn't buy you favor. Like, because you're paying $10 a month doesn't mean I now owe you something. And this does happen a little too frequently. But this particular person then gave up on me because I wasn't, taking a knee to them at all. Started going after my wife. Started sending a bunch of emails to her. Hey, you need to do this. You need to do that. You guys are horrible. And when that didn't work, they went into the chats. They went into all the platforms, and they created all these different accounts, and the same person doing it. And then when that didn't work, went after organizations I'm affiliated with, like the PPC, the APP at the time. I was affiliated with them. And then when I ran for council, all the council members got an email talking about how I'm a racist and neo-Nazi and all this garbage, which is not true. But this person to this day still does this. If I go on other people's podcasts where this person's not blocked, pops up in the chat.
Right.
Still doing it. Same
Are
person.
they even real? Like, are they a bot?
Yeah. We know their name. We know quite a bit about
because
them now.
sometimes when you look at the timestamp of posts, you can just see they've been at it for 24 hours. Like,
no, that's something that's very suspicious because this person watches all the platforms and all the shows.
How could you have that much time in a day?
Have a job if you're doing this.
No.
But what I'm getting at though is this person is what you would call a handler, and they tried to handle us through niceness. Hey, I'm a subscriber. I'm one of your people. Yeah. I totally like what you're doing. I'm contributing to your chats all the time. I'm backing you up. Some people don't like you, and I stand up for you. Went from that to sending emails to the entire council to tell them that I'm a bad candidate and I should be removed as a candidate, and hasn't stopped since. So that's a type of handler too, because a handler could be somebody that you think is friendly and works with you, or
for sure.
like you said, they're trying to push you in a certain direction. And I've seen that absolutely with this.
Well, yeah, but and the thing too is that it's the algorithm itself that is incentivizing people in one way or the other, because they can just see, well, when I do content like this, my ad revenue goes up. And the thing too is that I've been on YouTube for 12 years. So I was kind of in the game of that world before a lot of people got into it. There was a real surge of content creators in the freedom side during COVID, right? Massive. Like, most people that you follow today in the freedom movement were green during COVID. And so the algorithm kind of incentivizes you in one way or the other. And because there's so many people in it now there's less stuff to go around, right? It's a limited piece of pie, in that the more people that become, it's just supply and demand. And so we're in a scenario now where there's a lot of people trying to do the same thing, so there's less to go around. And so the incentive to follow the algorithm is actually now greater than ever. And so I think it's not even just that there's a specific handler, whether they're a bot, some kind of friendly person who weasels their way into your network like you just described, or somebody who's like literally an aggressive type of handler that's there. There's all kinds, but it's the algorithm itself, which is a foundational idea that you're going to be incentivized this particular way because there's not much money to go around. And if you want to get that money so that you can quit your day job, you got to do this. Look at the sunrise behind me. This is unbelievable.
Beautiful.
My daughter was like taking a photo of it over there. But that's the challenge with today. And sometimes it just makes me say, man, we just got to get offline. It's like, you ever see that movie Transcendence with Johnny Depp?
No, Paula,
it's really worth watching.
I haven't. But I shall, because I'm a fan of Mr. Depp.
It's probably 15 years old, but the concept is AI basically experiences the singularity, and it just all of a sudden is everywhere, and it's exploding and taking over people's minds, and there's basically this the whole concept is like there needs to be this cut. I won't spoil the ending for you, but the movie is. I've heard some theories that we've already hit the singularity, but this is AI is like I kind of think of there's a handful of things that are like the biggest issues right now. I think like inflation, obviously, immigration, obviously, but AI, like these are three things that are completely transcendent of our society. They're changing our society so quickly that we're just scrambling to keep up, and we don't even know, what do we focus on? I just wonder if we just have to turn it all off and just go completely grassroots. Because even when I look at the Alberta separatist movement, what's going on there, to me, it seems like it's too big. If we try to get the people in the cities involved, how are we ever going to win? Because all these infiltrators are in the city, and the cities are, by and large, demanding more government. So that's, there's a lot there. But yeah, we have a lot of challenges ahead of us, to say the least.
There is. But what we started to do with this show, which I think is mentally healthy for us as well, is more live events. So yes,
Yeah.
we have our online stuff.
Well, I
Yes, we
love
have
that
our
you're doing that.
chat. Yeah,
Mhm.
but it's totally booked for the next 3 months or so to do live events, basically every weekday. But then you meet real people. It's like,
Yes.
hi, I am Sunny Side Up 1 2 3. Nice to see you. It's like, oh, I'm fine. I can put a face to you. You're like, you're a real person.
Yeah.
Or like you see in the chat, there was this one. It looks like somebody from outside of Canada saying, "I've been watching you from the beginning. Love what you do. Love what you share." And I'm not even in Canada. Like, oh, that's awesome. Hopefully,
Mhm.
we can cross paths one day. Sunny Side Up is a great person too.
Mhm.
But when you leave the digital realm and you get back into the real world and you meet real people, here's one thing that we've seen. I've done, oh gosh, over the last 3 months, maybe 20 events now. 2 people protested in all of those events.
Right.
Nobody comes outside holding the signs because you know what? Bots don't materialize in the real world.
Exactly.
So all
Yeah.
of this, if you do a post and like 30% of it seems to be hate and Jason Levine's that, Jason even spelled my name wrong. Like they use the Jewish version of the last name and they say, yeah, you're one of these people. I'm like, well, first, I have nothing against that, but I'm not. I'm a French Canadian.
Yeah.
Now Albertan, French Albertan. Anyways, my point is when you go to the real world,
Mhm.
they're not there.
100%.
there.
It's so
Yeah.
key. Yeah. And it, because the internet and social media has made, this is like a pandemic of society right now, has made a lot of people feel really isolated. Social
Yeah.
media is antisocial in many ways. Then just look at the people who spend the majority of their time on social media and then look at how they behave in real life. I mean, it's our eyes don't lie. And I think that's kind of the general theme that I've been really trying to,
Don't believe your lying eyes, right?
Mhm.
that's exactly it. Is if somebody's telling you something that your eyes are not, what's going on there? And there's a lot of that going on right now. Even the stuff with Israel is like that. It's like, don't believe your lying eyes. Don't look at all the rubble. Don't look at the leveling of Gaza. Oh, there's a Palestinian conspiracy. That was one I heard the other day from a guy in our circles of it's Qatar and Palestine. Yeah, they're running the conspiracy. Oh yeah, they own all the banks and all the media. Oh, right, and the military-industrial complex. Yeah, people in rubble are coordinating a massive global conspiracy. Okay, it's the lies. Like, it requires a lot of mental gymnastics, and that's where I just go back to center, use your eyes and trust your heart. What's that telling you? Stop with the noise, get away from all the blah, 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 he said, she said online, and just use your eyes. And I think that's how we get to the truth. But I think what you're doing is really important, Jason. And live events are key right now. People need that. I mean, we saw it during COVID too, right? People were so starved to just get together and give somebody a hug or shake a hand, and how meaningful that was. We're still in that era. We're still in that era of fear that from COVID. Yeah, the masks aren't as prominent, but there's something there, and the live events are key.
Yeah, I'm back to hugging people.
Yeah, we're huggers.
Yeah.
We're huggers. If you meet our little men, they're huggers as well, especially Jacob.
Yeah.
He'll hug everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, people need to get away from the screen and go out, touch grass, get some air.
But on
do that.
that note, one more thing I just want to throw out there for anybody that's listening in the public. One way to absolutely get me to walk away from you is to tell me who I can and can't speak.
Okay.
Absolutely. Like if you've been around for me long enough, if you do that, like, oh, hey, I don't like this certain person, or how dare you have this person on, I put a little flag beside your name. It's like
That's public notice right there.
yeah, public notice for sure. And everybody does that, by the way. And I said this to someone the other day because they tried to do it as well. They're like, hey, I don't know why you plan to work with this person. I'm like, listen, if I listened to everybody about what they said about everybody, I'd be working with nobody, because everybody has somebody that says, hey, that's not a good person.
Exactly.
So I have to ignore that. I have to filter that out. And I use my personal experiences with people as my gauge on whether or not I'll work with them again or not. And there's very few people I won't work with again. There's a lot of people I will work with. And when I say work with, and another thing that people conflate is just because we have somebody on a show doesn't mean we're lifelong friends and I agree with every single thing they've ever said.
Of course
in their
not.
life, past, present,
Yes.
future. Like that seems to be conflated with somebody. Like
It's
hey,
insane
because
that you have
Chris
to even
Doran,
say
he
that.
used to be a lefty and he used to be an anarchist, and that means you are that too. Like, no, come on.
You don't even agree with everything I say, and
I don't
vice
agree with that
versa.
statement at all.
That's the thing. I've just observed that post October 7th, that whole Israel thing, that's the right. Again, that's why I keep saying the right's got woke. Is that's what they say all the time. Is up until that point, the left would say that all the time. Oh, you're talking to so and so, therefore you're a Nazi. Now the right is doing that. Oh, you're talking to so and so, therefore you're a Nazi. It's like, what happened to being able to have conversations with people? And why do that's one thing I find too is I even see this in people that challenge me when I associate with, like when I had my interview with Bruce Party, I've gotten a bit of this pushback from some of my people is, well, why didn't you challenge him on this and this? It's like, well, why do I have to? Why can't we just have a conversation, share some ideas? Because I think one thing that I notice people do is they really put others on a pedestal, and they do it either in a good or bad way. They say either, oh, this person's great, they're infallible, or no, they're horrible, and this, that, and the other. It's like, well, how about just don't put them on a pedestal at all? Have a conversation about ideas, take the ideas you like, and leave the rest. Isn't that good enough? It used to be. And that's how I feel. Like, I think Bruce Party's Constitution is fantastic. I would change some things on it, but that doesn't mean that Bruce is a horrible guy and he's controlled opposition and all this. It's just, he's got ideas. He's got a world experience that's different than mine. And so we're all just living our world and our existence through our eyes and what we know. And so people are so quick to judge and call somebody this, that, and the other because they're not completely on this line of the sand with me. But it's just silly because we've been this is a psychological operation in a way. We've been duped into that, and it's all about just keeping your guardrails on and getting you into binary thinking, right? It's either one thing or the other, and that's how they control the narrative. That goes back to Edward Bernays and Sigmund Freud and a lot of these elites that were coming up with these psychological techniques on how to manipulate people's minds. That's one you really want to watch for, is if somebody's trying to get you into a binary thinking, they're either consciously or subconsciously trying to control what you believe. And that's, for me, a red flag. Like, it's just like you give public notice with people telling you who you can and cannot talk to. When people present binary thinking to me, then that's public notice on that too. Don't talk to me, because that's a limited way to see the world. Because we all know in the real world, you go out in nature and you can observe that the world isn't black and white. Isn't all one thing or the other. Ecosystems and nature are incredibly diverse and complex, and there's a multitude of things to consider. And so human relationships are just the same.
Yep.
I loved how you said, watch out for binary logic, and then you created a binary logic. Either it's this or that. I didn't pick up on that.
I like that.
Hang on, all right. We're going to go in camera now, so stick around. We're going to go hang out with our supporters. There could be an infiltrator or two or there. We don't know. But this is an awesome conversation. We ran a little bit long because, I love these kind of conversations because I've experienced it. I've certainly changed my perspective of the world several times as I've been going through this little journey of mine. I know where my heart is and my head is and my paycheck comes from. We don't have one. But other people seem to be very clear and have the proof that they never show.
Yeah.
So this has always been a fascinating conversation for me.
Yeah.
So hang on a second, Curtis. Okay, we're going to play our exit, and then we'll be right back with you. Okay.
Okay. I'll grab another coffee.
You can have another coffee or tea. There's a binary choice.
Okay.
Right there.
All right.
Take care, man. Yeah, I couldn't let that one slide because he said either you're this or that, and watch out for binary logic. I'm like, well, that's binary
Yeah,
logic.
and that's always been my favorite. You're fed. I have the receipts. Oh,
Sure.
please. Because if it's the truth and it's factual, there's no repercussions of being sued or defamation, nothing. Go ahead. But there isn't.
It never is because we're not.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a couple people, unfortunately, who's have some credibility or at least some clout. I don't know if it's well deserved or not. Who's made things very difficult for us. But we've gone through it. And Prairie, I saw your little comment. No, there's no flag by your name. Prairie can't. You're awesome. And if you're a handler, you're a really good one because we're not figuring that one out. But we certainly have supporters that have been watching this stuff for a long time. They kind of got to know us. And we actually had somebody come up to you yesterday and say that you don't know me, but I feel like I know you. Like
they started watching the show when we had Shane Getson on.
Yeah.
And then she said that she's kind of binge watched. She's caught up. So lovely to meet you last night. And yes, we will be planning a get together when the weather's warmer and he's in town.
Yep.
But yeah, that was nice.
Very sweet. Like, you don't know me, but I feel like I know you. You're like a friend to me. Like,
yeah.
Nice to see you.
Great.
Nice to meet you.
No, it is great that we've built a relationship not only online but in person of some of our viewers.
Yeah.
We've got one who lives nearby, one who's in Ottawa, which you'll be seeing.
Yep.
You'll be seeing her. No.
Her.
Crystal.
Oh, Crystal too. Sorry, there's so many. There's so many of you now that we meet.
You'll be seeing Crystal on Monday was when you're in Ottawa, right? Yeah.
Yes, Monday's Ottawa, the 9th. Yeah.
Because it's every night you're hopping different city every night.
6 nights in a row. We're going to do that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But anyway.
No, it won't be warm. We're sending the weather.
Yes. But we're keeping it. Like I said, it's just got to hang on to the 15th for me. Warm weather till the 15th. Then
you want me to go back to cold weather? I see what you're doing there. Binary thinker, you.
I'm just, Crystal, we saw you got your tickets. We saw it.
Yeah. Thanks for your support for Sean and the battle that Dan's going through.
Yes.
All right, let's run over that. I want to get back to Curtis.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, everyone. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. And hope you have a fantastic weekend and see you Monday.
You guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out long on this one. Love you all very much. Have a great week. And if you can be in Ontario and come say hi and shake your hands, show me you're not a bot. There's a mission here. If you're not a bot, you better show up at one of those 6 showings. Go to supportsean.ca to find one near you. If there's one near you, fill out the support Sean or request a screening, and we'll do our best to get something.
Yeah, just pop that on. Let's get fun.
Thank you very much. Love you all very much. God bless.